and priority is vegetation management. But I think we want to work with you to really recognize the changing climate and what it means to our forests and actually work together with that science. That science is going to be key, because if we ignore that science and sort of put our head in the sand and think it's all about vegetation management, we're not going to succeed together protecting Californians.
Okay. It'll start getting cooler. You just watch.
I wish science agreed with you.
Well, I don't think science knows, actually. Tom, please.
So, Mr. President, if you're okay, I'd like to approach the map.
That was Donald Trump denying the realities of climate change at a press conference and briefing in Sacramento, California. He was there with Gavin Newsom and other officials talking about the fires that have been happening across the western United States and how devastating they've been to individuals, to wildlife, to economies, etc. And Donald Trump at one point is basically confronted with the reality that climate change is what's causing these fires, that there may be other issues as well, and there may be ways to tinker, but fundamentally, hot, dry weather is being caused by climate change, and hot, dry weather causes the conditions for what we've been seeing. The red skies, the orange skies, the entire hillside aflame. That is climate change more than anything else. And it led to this very awkward exchange where Trump basically looks like, and I put this without any hyperbole, a moron. Says here, California Secretary for Natural Resources Wade Crowfoot, we want to work with you to really recognize the changing climate. Trump then interjects by saying, it'll start getting cooler, you just watch. Crowfoot, I wish science agreed with you. Trump, well, I don't think science knows actually. That's the president basically saying that science, that scientists are either dupes or they're idiots or they're liars, and that they don't understand what's happening. When it's a virtual consensus among scientists that climate change is real, that humans are causing it, and that it has a direct substantive link to what we're seeing happening in California right now. And they're trying to work with Trump. They're trying to approach some kind of partnership. Gavin Newsom noted, for instance, that Donald Trump is responsible for much of this land because a lot of the forest land in California is actually under federal jurisdiction, and they want to build a partnership. And Trump just seems to deny the basic reality that's facing his eyeballs, right? Like, it's absurd. It's baffling to me. And I think there's a couple things that may be going on. One is that Donald Trump himself is a climate change denier, and that it helps him get through the day with all that he's done to make the climate worse if he doesn't believe in climate change. It would help you sleep easier at night if you don't believe climate change is real or you don't believe humans are causing it, and then you support fracking and you support coal and all these sorts of things, because you can say to yourself, the climate change scientists are all liars. It doesn't matter what we do, good or bad, the climate's going to change with or without us. And that'll get you through the day. But I think it might also be that Donald Trump perfectly understands the dangerous reality of climate change, but he doesn't care because he knows it won't affect him because he's in his 70s and he might pass away before the real effects start to be felt by everyday people, or that his wealth will insulate him. Or it could also be the case that he knows that his own people, his own base especially, does not believe in climate change, and he's playing to them. We know Donald Trump has already set an example for knowing something is dangerous in private and lying about it in public. We saw it with Bob Woodward, the Woodward interviews, where he basically said behind the scenes that, this health crisis is real. It's worse than the flu. It's more dangerous than we thought. It's not just dangerous to the elderly and the sick. It's dangerous even to young, healthy people, that it may well be spread easier than we ever thought it could be, and that he was very concerned. And he was downplaying it to quote unquote reduce panic. But what in reality he was doing was expressing his real views, that this is serious, while in public basically telling people that it was a hoax, that he's having rallies where people are packed in indoor spaces without masks, or even in outdoor spaces packed in without masks, right? Like this creating this scenario where we know that Trump knows it's dangerous, but he does it anyway. And I think that Donald Trump may well not be a personal climate change denier, aka he knows it's bad, but knows that his political and financial interests rely upon the fact that so many Americans, a majority of Republicans, effectively don't believe it's real. And so he's leaning into that. That not only makes him a moron, it makes him a monster. And this isn't even me defending Gavin Newsom all that much. Gavin Newsom and a lot of corporate Democrats believe in climate change, but they won't enact the social, political, and economic and environmental programs via the Green New Deal to actually stop what's happening. So on the one hand, you have Donald Trump, the literal climate change denier, and then you have corporate neoliberals who acknowledge it but will do nothing about it. But the fact of the matter is, even in this exchange, it makes Newsom and the neoliberals look at least relatively reasonable, and it makes Donald Trump look like he doesn't understand the world as it's very plainly demonstrating itself.